Hi, I'm Cinta Danu,
And I'm Skyreader Sherry.
and tonight we're going to be talking about new moon eclipses, specifically new moon eclipses in Sagittarius, and really specifically this one that's happening on December 4th, which is a solar eclipse, and I believe it's a total eclipse, right?
Yes, the solar eclipse that is coming up on December 4th is a total solar eclipse. It's also considered a stealth moon. And what that means is that the moon is at its closest point to Earth in this lunar cycle, and it's right at 99%. So that makes it a stealth moon because we can't see it.
Right.
Unlike a supermoon, that occurs when the moon is at its closest point to Earth on a full moon.
Right.
And so that's kind of the difference, which just gives added power to this eclipse.
So this is the last eclipse of the Gemini Sag series. And then we're, of course, going into the Taurus Scorpio axis because the nodes are moving into Taurus and Scorpio very soon. So
Yes.
it's really powerful considering, like, both that it's a stealth moon that's very close, even though you can't see it, and also the fact that it's the last of this series.
Definitely. That's making it very significant. The aspects that it's making are pretty powerful, which we'll be talking about in future videos. It's occurring in the sign of Sagittarius. And so we're going to see a lot more stuff coming up about religion, philosophy, legal affairs, a lot of high profile legal cases going on. All of those things are ruled by Sagittarius, and it's a really good time to start new things in regards to spirituality.
Right. So new moons in general are all about beginnings, and then therefore new moon eclipses are an even larger beginning, right? A new beginning that's a shift in your life for sure, right? Because the eclipses, I believe this one's about a minute long for how long it's total, right? So it's a very long
It's going
eclipse,
to
right?
be a minute and 55 seconds
Oh, so
total,
almost 2 minutes.
totality. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a pretty good amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's giving us an indication that the effects of this eclipse are going to be in effect a minimum of a year, probably longer.
Wow.
And, depending on where the eclipse is happening in an individual's natal chart, tells them that the parts of their life that are really going to be affected. And that's what I do. I do predictive astrology. But on the mundane level, it's giving us a lot of information on what's going to be going on in the planet, what's going to be the highest focus over the next year.
So yeah, like I was saying, it's new beginnings, but this is over a much longer period than say like a new moon. We're talking over a year, right? That we
Right.
can make these last changes in the Sag realm, really, because it's the last one that we're going to have until you said previously it was 2029 that we're going to have the
Yes,
next Sag.
November of 2029 will be the next
Mhm.
time that we have a solar eclipse falling in the sign of Sagittarius. This is a really good time to start things that are long-term endeavors, things that are going to not happen right away. This isn't something you expect to finish in a lunar cycle. So any of those Sagittarian things, that could be starting college, starting a
Right.
book, anything that you want to have as a goal that is a long-term goal, not just a short term.
Right. So this is like also a really good period for like spiritual growth because Jupiter is spiritual. Well, it's more religious and philosophical than spiritual, but it's also expansion. And that tends to be when you expand somewhere in your life, you tend to go through some kind of spiritual process, I've noticed. So it could be some kind of like spiritual experience. And it'll, of course, depend what area of your life will depend on where it's hitting in your chart, but it definitely looks like some good opportunities, like you said, for going to college or writing a book, or is, you know, also good for adventures and traveling and potentially meeting people that are very different from you, all
Long
those things.
distance travel. If one is thinking about starting legal affairs, this typically is a good time. Of course, you would want to have your chart looked at before you determine based on your personal aspects, but it is a good time for legal papers as well, approaching publishers. Yeah, we may even see new religions come into existence throughout this period of time.
Right. And it's also, of course, you know, Sagittarius ruling foreigners, and I believe also immigrants, that we're definitely could see a change in foreign policy or our policies on immigration in general in the world.
Yeah, definitely with Sagittarius, we could see new laws, new regulations coming in regards to how we deal with immigration, how we're dealing with foreign affairs. There could be conflicts in some type of military endeavors coming up in the next year. And we'll get into that more when we get into the aspects to the solar eclipse. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so we'll be talking about expansiveness and the Jupiter energy and what's going on with that as well in the future videos on this solar eclipse.
Right. So then we'll be back again to talk to you guys about Jupiter ruling the eclipse and what that means. So see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.